Hi everyone, it's Lisa. Welcome back to Conversations from the Kitchen. Before we get into today's holiday episode, I wanted to give you a little update. I have 3 amazing interviews lined up, everyday people with extraordinary stories tied to food, family, and memory. But with the holidays coming up, scheduling has been a little tricky. But those conversations are simmering, and they will be worth the wait. So today, I wanted to bring you something from the heart, something a little longer, a little deeper, because while the holidays can be magical, full of sparkle and warmth, they can also be complicated. They can be heavy. They can remind us of what we've gained and what we've lost. You know, when I think about the holidays, I think of my mom's kitchen. She loved cooking for people. She truly loved it. It was her love language. I don't think she ever turned anyone away from a meal. You know, my friends would come over all the time. And to this day, they still talk about her cooking. They'll say, "Lisa, remember your mom's pasta?" Oh my goodness, I've never had lentil soup. It was amazing. Or that other soup with the unidentified object floating in it. What was that? Hilarious. I do remember the smell, the warmth, the way she fed people's hearts as much as their stomachs. But even in the warmest kitchens have shadows. During the holidays, especially, families can get interesting, right? Arguments happen, old resentments bubble up like a pot left boiling too long. Maybe someone said something 10 years ago that still lingers. Maybe 2 siblings aren't speaking. And maybe someone feels overlooked and someone else feels misunderstood. You know, I remember holidays where someone stormed off, or someone arrived late and in a mood, or someone said something sharp without meaning to. You could feel the tension before the laughter returned. And even though we love the holidays, those moments stick with you, right? The arguments, the silence, the little hurts we swallow along with the meal. And then there's the other kind of loneliness, the kind you really don't talk about at the holiday table. The kind that comes from being cut off by someone, or having to distance yourself from someone for your own well-being. That kind of loneliness doesn't make noise. It just sits quietly next to you. But here's something I've learned. Even when relationships crack, even when someone isn't sitting at the table this year, the memories of once was are still part of us. And sometimes those memories hurt. And sometimes they save us. You know, my mom always had this tradition of seeing one extra plate at the end of the table. She never announced it, never made a big deal about it. Sometimes a neighbor filled that seat, sometimes a friend or a coworker, or just someone going through a hard time. And sometimes it stayed empty. But after my dad passed away in 2020, that empty chair became more than just an empty chair. It was his place, the spot where he sat and told stories about growing up in Bari, switching from English to Italian mid-sentence just because he got excited. The place where his big, booming laugh filled the whole room. The kind of laugh you feel in your chest. That absence, it hurts. It still does. And suddenly, that extra plate meant something new. It wasn't just about welcoming someone unexpected. It became a way of holding space. For him, for grief, for memory, for love that hasn't gone anywhere, even though he's no longer physically here. And I think that extra plate can be for anyone we're missing, right? Anyone whose laughter or stories or presence made the holidays feel like home. So if you're listening right now and this season feels complicated, you're not alone. If you feel joyful, wonderful, if you feel sad, that's human. If you feel both, welcome. You belong here. Maybe you're dealing with a broken relationship. Maybe someone cut you off and it still aches. Maybe you're carrying anger or nostalgia or longing. Maybe you're missing someone like I miss my dad. Someone whose voice and stories still echo in your heart. Wherever you are emotionally, you get to pull up a chair here. No judgment, no pretending everything is perfect. In the coming weeks, as I bring you those 3 interviews I've been working on, we'll talk about all of it. The joy, the pain, the food, family tradition, and beautiful, messy in between parts of life. The guests I have lined up will share memories that made me laugh, tear up, and also reflect, and I can't wait for you to hear them. But for now, as the holidays approach, I want to leave you with this. You know, whether your table is full or quiet or missing someone, whether you're healing, remembering, celebrating, or just trying to get through each day, there's a seat for you here in my kitchen. You do matter. Your stories matter, and your memories, the sweet, spicy, the heavy, the comforting, they matter. So until next time, what will you cook? What story will you remember? And how can you make a little space at your table and in your heart? So until next time, keep cooking, keep sharing, and never stop finding connection, even in the imperfect moments. Thanks for listening.